We are live. We are live. Welcome to College Football's Peek Around the Corner with your host, Greg Pflugar. We cover everything in college football because we love everything in college football. And if you do as well, please subscribe to our channel. Smash the like button if you like our cut. Oh, God, I love this program. I appreciate you all coming on in. Thank you so very much. If you like what you see, hit the $, donate to us, help us keep the lights on. All of you are welcome into the studio that sits on the corner, the very corner of Keith Jackson Parkway and Kurt Gowdy Avenue. Do not be afraid. Do not be afraid to become a legend. With your comments and with your phone calls. Yeah, I'm in a good mood. Hit the like button and feel the code. Thank you, Expedition Greg, for your super chat. I do appreciate it. A $5 holler from Expedition Greg. Thank you for starting us off. Thank you for all your support for this college football's rebel outpost. And yes, this is today is going to be another example why we are the most unpopular college football YouTube channel in the country, bar none. I can't isn't it obvious yet what this is truly all about? There is two posts on X that illustrates what is truly going on here. Before I get to the roll call, before we got a stack show, Alabama Crimson Tide is under the PAT spotlight today. We're going to be talking about the Texas Tech Red Raiders. Once again, a lot of excitement. We're gonna talk. The Athletic put out an article about what the Big 12 coaches said about the Texas Tech Red Raiders, their chances to win the Big 12 championship. But before we, I just to set the table, I got to show you these two. Okay. Now there's a lot of news, right? We got the bill that is in the House that is trying to codify the settlement agreement, trying to put rules in trying to give the autonomy conferences, trying to give legitimacy to the bodies so they can set the rules and administer punishment and all that stuff, right? And the bill was put into play today in the House, and it's interesting because the bill does have two House Democrats co-sponsoring it. I would not have predicted that last night. Now, I did say, in accordance to Ross Dillinger's reports on X last night, I did bring up during our emergency live show that maybe it looks like there was at least some attempt of bipartisanship when you read the few things that were in the bill. And now today, we have an illustration of there was bipartisanship, at least somewhat. Two Democratic congressional members of the House are co-sponsoring it. One from Oregon, and I believe, I can't remember where the other person is from. I apologize. I can't remember. Now, usually, the House is way more partisan than the Senate. So if you've got a few House members buying into this from the other side of the aisle, no matter which way you're going here, that can be an indication that something can get through the 60 filibuster rule in the Senate. It's still an uphill battle. We're going to go through that. So there's been news out there, right? And then there is the news of the Sports Commission, the College Sports Commission, basically reiterating the rules that when an NIL deal comes in and it's coming from a collective, the collective has to identify itself being an entity, being something that is connected to the athletic department of that institution. Number one. And the deal has to be connected to a commercial enterprise. In other words, true name, image, and likeness. My God, We've only been talking about this for how many months? And then we've got a backlog of these submitted deals that people are complaining that hasn't, because the information hasn't been filled out. And to top everything off, you've got these agents and lawyers, and they can be often the same thing, agent, lawyer, scurrying around X, saying, oh my God, this is a surprise. We were not told. You've got the head of the collection association saying this is outrageous. We didn't know. Come on, man. Come on. Let's take a look, shall we? Shall we take a look here? Come on. We know what's going on here. The game is afoot. We know clearly what's going on here. Let's take a look at this. We're going to circle back to this. We're not even going to start this show off with this. But I want to set the table for later on in the show. That's not what I wanted. That is not what I wanted. Okay, Ross Dellinger. Now, let everybody, Big Gun Shop, Daniel Gygax, Don Scruggs, Caleb Ramirez, Mick Stevens. I need Mr. Tungate. Thank you so much for the super chat. I'll get to you in a moment. Stormy Cyclone, thank you. Tough Tony, Go for Tony. I need everybody to focus. I know there's not going to be many people here today. So many people are upset with the fat guy from Minnesota. And you know what? I don't blame you. I don't blame you. I don't know. I do not blame anybody for being pissed off at me. Hopefully you'll come back to the show. Hopefully you'll come back to the channel. But I've angered a lot of people. Somebody's got to do it. Somebody's got to do it. And it's going to be me. Ross Dellinger. Ross Dellinger. It has been obvious for months. Excuse me. Excuse me. I apologize. That was very unprofessional of me. Ross Dellinger. Earlier today. It has been obvious for months that traditional collective deals won't be cleared. Collectives must evolve into marketing agencies to strike deals with brands and businesses. Many schools and athletes submitted trial balloon collective deals. It appears that most will not be cleared. It's been obvious for months. My God, everybody in the PATC family knew that these deals being submitted, that every school signed off on in the settlement, it's got to be connected to a name, image, and likeness deal. Okay? All right? It's been obvious for months. Now, it's been obvious for months. Right? Right? It's been obvious for months. That name, image, and likeness deal has to be a true image and likeness deal. Okay? We've got lawyers, we've got agents all over the place on Twitter acting like they're shocked. They're so surprised. They were not told. Really? This guy, Darren Heitner. So, it is not okay for Alabama Collective to pay an athlete to do appearances that benefit the collective and have a charitable public good purpose, but it's okay for Alabama Collective to pay the athlete to appear in a commercial for Nick Saban's car dealership? Yes! Of course! Where have you been? What are we talking about here? We've been talking about, this has been going on for months. Yeah, that's exactly what that means. It's exactly what that means. Players that are getting paid a couple $100,000 to benefit the collective. That's not a commercial enterprise. Getting paid to do charitable work, that's not a commercial enterprise. This should not shock anybody. This is a game. I'm sorry. Look, if you all want to turn me off today, turn it off right now. This is a game. This is just a game that's being played. This is a game that is being played. And I'm calling it out because this is college football's peek around the corner. I'm giving you the peek behind the curtain. They don't want this gravy train, this easy gravy train, to dry up. The collectives are supposed to be working the marketing to get the best NIL deals they can for the student athletes. Not a collective going, oh, here's a whole bunch of money and by God, you're helping us as a collective. Oh, do some charity work and here's $500,000. Those days are over. And they're not allowed in the NFL. They're not allowed in the NBA. These agents, I'm telling you, this was my answer, by the way. Yes, as it should be. Doing charitable work while getting paid to do so is an obvious pay-to-play inducement action. There is a lot of commercial opportunities available with student athletes will continue to make well-deserved money from their NIL, not from a collective giving them an inducement payment. And these guys are acting all surprised. Oh my God, what is going on here? This has only been explained month after month, week after week, day after day. This victimhood stuff, it ain't gonna work on this YouTube channel. It ain't working. It ain't gonna work. It ain't gonna work. Look, these college student athletes, they're not gonna go into a draft. There ain't going to be the number 1 draft pick, the number 2 draft pick, the number 3 draft pick overall, the first offensive tackle off the board. These student athletes are not going to be drafted. They're going to have their own decision to go to the university that they want to go to. So right away, right off the bat, the student athlete has more power than the professional NBA player and the NFL player. Okay, cool. Fine. We cannot restrict a student to go to a university that they're going to be able to have that choice. But to give them that choice, to have them have that choice, which they should have, and then have the inducement as part of this, boy, you really want that's not part of the NFL. It's not part of the NBA. When you are a free agent and you go out there, you sign the contract, you pay for that contract, and then you have true commercial NIL deals. Commercial NIL deals. Pay-for-play deals, again, we talked about it yesterday, are illegal in the NFL. Why is this so complicated? Ladies and gentlemen, these agents don't want those easy inducement deals to go away. They don't want them to go away. It's easy money. It's the best money they're ever going to get. They're talking about how they're battling for the student athlete. The student athletes need representation. But these agents, we've seen the reports, some of them getting 10, 20% of this is all a game. This is exactly what we don't want. We don't want MLB. We don't want this whole thing being ruled by a couple of agents, a couple of billionaires, and that's the game. It ain't happening. Well, it ain't, I mean, as long as I have this microphone and my creator lets me stay above the ground, I'm not going to, this is something we cannot tolerate. But before we go on to our program, let me make this clear. The programs that have the advantages with NIL are still going to have the advantages with NIL. This is not being taken away. The programs that have the advantage with NIL, guess what? You're still going to have the advantage with the NIL. People are acting like all this is going to take away NIL money. No, it ain't. No, it ain't. No, it ain't. And you know what? NIL advantages come and go, right? Boosters, they get the businesses that want to support, they ebb and flow out of NIL. We've seen that over the last 3 years. There's going to be an athletic department. There's going to be a program out there 5 years from now that's going to raise up their NIL. And some of them are going to dip. That's just the nature of this. But programs that have a lot of support, a lot of boosters, businesses ready to give, commercial interest in the student athletes that play for universities, those NIL advantages are not going away. They're not. You know what's going away? Some of these absolute ludicrous deals in which millions of dollars are going to a student so they can get the student to play at the university. Inducement payments that are not connected to a commercial enterprise, which are not allowed in the NBA, which are not allowed in the NFL. They cannot be allowed here. That's what's going away. And I'm sorry to all the agents that are about to lose their gravy train, but you're going to lose it one way or the other. If this doesn't get codified and if a CBA comes in here, I hope to God the CBA, well, first of all, you're not going to be able to do inducement payments under a CBA, just like every other sport league. So why do you think this is going to happen in this CBA if it happens in college sports? There is this huge misconception that if there is a limit, a pushback on a athlete, a professional athlete, if they don't get the money, all the money that they can get, if you push back on that you are Greg the communist. That you are a commie, a pico commie. That you really are not for the athlete's rights. I call bullocks on that. Absolute bullocks. LeBron James has never been paid his true value. They've had max contracts in the NBA. They've got max contracts in the NBA because it was good for the NBA. You cannot fry the golden goose. These student athletes, there's a lot of interest in these student athletes. They're getting some NIL deals. They're paying rev share money because there's interest in watching them. It's fantastic. But if you burn that down, these student athletes are going to lose opportunities. They're going to lose money. So There is always, unless it's Major League Baseball, which is a joke, there is always somebody, some force that says to a professional athlete, that's all you can get with payments from this franchise. And then they go off and make money, commercial money. And they own businesses. But when it comes to the participation of that professional athlete in that sport, there is a limit. In NFL, there is a limit. There is a cap. So this whole thing that I want all these players to get all the money they can possibly can. Well, if that is what's going to happen, the sport is going to get destroyed. And that is why everybody's been, again, would I have loved for all of this to be under a CBA? Yes, but that's not the reality. The choice right now is codification or destruction. You take your choice. I'm going to go for the codification. If you want destruction, go for it. But I'm not going to stay silent when these agents are acting stupid today. Saying, oh my God, you mean blah, blah. You mean that a collective just can't fork over as much money as they want to the athlete? No, they can't. Einstein, everybody knows this. They're acting all shocked. They're not shocked. They're not stupid. They're playing the victim. The agents are playing the victim. I think they are a little bit worried. I think they are a little bit worried that more student athletes than ever before are going to actually get paid through the rev share and NIL deals, but the big, giant pay-for-play deals in which the agents make their real money, hint, hint, wink, wink, are going away. And they don't like it. And they're going to be spreading their stuff on X like they've been doing for months. And I'm going to be the guy that calls them out, which I did today, and I'm going to continue to do it. Because they don't, I'm not going to say what I'm about to say. But they don't want, a lot of them keep saying, all we need is a CBA. You know what CBA they want? Do you know what collective bargaining agreement they want? They want the Wild Wild West collective bargaining agreement. That's what they're going to, and that's what they're going to spend months on out there. Because they want the money. They're looking out for their own interest. Sorry, that's the truth. It's exactly what they did with Major League Baseball. A couple of agents run that sport. It's terrible. And we cannot allow it to happen for college football. Okay. How do you stop a university from paying big money to an athlete to do commercials for football, basketball, baseball tickets? That would be a commercial deal. Go for it. That would be a commercial deal. Now, it's the big money part is, how much is that commercial really worth? How much increased tickets are you going to get, right? It's going to be obvious in my mind, it's going to be real obvious when it becomes an inducement payment. They are the Deloitte clearinghouse per the instructions of those who represented the 10 FBS conferences. Let it be known to the clearinghouse, and this was approved by the House lawyers, that they should gauge true NIL deals with the deals that the NFL and NBA players are getting. So that is your baseline. So, yes, go for it. Commercial deal, go for it. Submit it. If it gets denied, resubmit it. But these monster deals, again, I'll go back to this guy. I mean, this is hysterical. In my opinion, this shows so much. He's mocking. He's playing the victim here. So it is not okay for Alabama Collective to pay an athlete to do appearances that benefit the collective? Well, that's not a commercial deal. That means the collective would have no limits and have a charitable public good purpose. So you're paying a play to do charitable goods. Again, not a commercial. And this has been explained for weeks and months, and every school signed off on it. This dog ain't gonna hunt. They're playing a game out here, guys. They're just playing this game. They're playing a game, and the pushback is on. At least for me it is. Ricky Tungate, thank you so much. Holy smokes, what's going on here? What is going on? There you go. Ricky Tungate, thank you so much for the super chat. I do appreciate your generosity and all of your support. Thank you so much, Mr. Hoosier. Wow. I'm very humbled by that incredible super chat. Thank you, Mr. Hoosier. Stormy Cyclone, after the abuse you took yesterday, have a beer on me. Stormy, I will do exactly that. I will do exactly that. Justin, which school do you think will be the first to offer a student an NIL deal where they get stock options from a major company? Is a stock option an NIL deal? We shall see. Again, they're going to base it on NFL, NBA contracts, right? Like LeBron James. He gets stock options. He gets ownerships of deals. If there's a college player that is so marketable, right? So obvious. We shall see. I don't know the answer to that. But again, it ain't going to be a collective that's going to give them the money and say, this is good for the collective. We give you $1 million. This is good for the collective. Or the collective gives a player $1 million because they did a charity event. You're getting paid to do a charity event. Think about it. These are just money laundering things going on, guys. They're not allowed anywhere else. Nowhere else are these deals allowed for pay to play, for inducements to join a franchise. They're not allowed in the Premier League. They're not allowed anywhere. So why are people so invested in allowing it here? Coos Corner, this is weird. Schools can pay NIL to a player, but collectives can't. Collectives can, but based on a commercial deal where the collective is the middle guy, the middleman. But the collectives can't pay a player because it's not a commercial deal. That's why most collectives have gone in-house to the athletic department. A collective just giving money to a player is not a commercial enterprise. It's not for profit. These professional players out here, they are in they're in deals to make a profit for the business, and they're getting money to be. A collective isn't for profit. It's just, if if inducements are not, I don't know what's going on with the system here. Hold on, everybody. If inducements are not taken away, this sport is going under. The sport is going under. So either through the codification of this settlement or through a CBA, pay-to-play inducements cannot be allowed. And what makes them so potent in this space, in this college sports space, is because there's no draft. Right? If you had a draft coming out of high school, then these inducement plays don't work, because you get drafted, you got to go to that franchise, to that university. But there ain't going to be a draft. So you're getting offers. You're getting rev share offers, and you're getting NIL offers through a commercial deal. And the student athletes going to make their decision. But inducements beyond the contract, beyond an NIL deal, are not allowed anywhere in sports. For very good reason, because you think in a collective bargaining agreement, people think, look, in a collective bargaining agreement, it is the labor and the ownership. Both sides have to be committed to each other. And in the collective bargaining agreement, the franchise, if they offer you $3 million a year and you take the deal, they got to pay you $3 million. That is the commitment under the CBA, plus all the other things that go along with it. But the player has commitment to the franchise. They got to play under the contract. They can ask for a trade. There's free agencies. There's player options in the NBA. That's all get bargained. In a negotiation. But if you are a player, if you are a football player, and you sign, and if you're being offered by the Green Bay Packers and you're being offered by the Los Angeles Rams, you're getting offered a contract. You're not getting offered a contract, and then another $1 million on the side that ain't going to go to the cap. That's not allowed in the NFL. None of it is, because it would destroy the sport. So why are we so invested in destroying college football? The agents and the lawyers that are paid by the agents have had free reign over the last 6 months on X and everywhere else, playing the victim constantly. Oh, these players, they should get paid whatever people are willing to throw at them. Well, that doesn't work when you are producing the product of competition. I don't know what's going on with my computer. Very disappointing. Hold on here. I must be yelling too much. I must be showing too much emotion. My computer can't handle it. Hold on. Hold on, everybody. My apologies. We haven't even gotten to the show yet. It must be true NIL, just like NFL players, NBA players. Great. The Premier League has no cap. It runs great. Okay, so you want no cap in college sports? You want no cap? Okay. Well, so let me get this straight. A lot of people want this Super League. They want a 72-team league where the media rights are shared, negotiated at once. But then on the other hand, they don't want a cap. Again, there is no consistent argument here. You don't want a cap. Well, if you don't want a cap, you're destroying Olympic sports. You're absolutely decimating them. There's only so much resources out there. You want no cap. You want the top 2% of the athletes to get most of the money. Even the NBA said, that ain't going to work. They have max contracts. The NFL. The Premier League, it did no cap. It became to the point where the top franchises wanted a super Premier League because of this indifference in money. Do you really want that? You really want Georgia to leave everybody behind? You want Alabama? You want Michigan? You want Ohio State? Is that what you really want? Because in some ways, people say we should be a super league. On the other way, they say, no cap, no cap. And by the way, every school that is represented in this chat room, your school signed on the dotted line to that rev share cap and to these NIL rules and to the Sports Commission and to Deloitte. The Deloitte was created by the Autonomy 4. The Sports Commission was created by representatives of all 10 FBS conferences. And if we don't follow the rules, the House lawyers are going to rip up the agreement, and then we're going to be on the hook. Your universities are going to be on the hook. Not for $2.8 billion in back pay, but $20 billion in back pay. So again, you don't have a whole bunch of choices, ladies and gentlemen. You have codify the settlement and play by the damn rules, or destruction. That is your options. That's it. Really, it is. Unless we see the CBA come riding on a white horse, coming on in and saving the day. But even under a CBA, guess what, ladies and gentlemen? There's going to be rules. And there most likely is going to be a cap, because most of the schools aren't going to go for no cap. Right? So, anyways, we've got a big show. You guys got me all wound up. You've got me all wound. Laura Weiss, I'm getting my violin. There should be no Deloitte. Oh, but too bad. There is. There is. There is. Oregon signed off on it. Texas Tech signed off on it. You had to. Or you were going to spend, 10 times more money on back pay to student athletes. I don't think we already lost, we were going to lose the class action case. Everybody, not just the NCAA, but every one of your schools. You've already lost. Take the loss. But people won't. They want to break all these rules. Total destruction. I think what most of my beloved Einsteins in the PATC family want, complete and total destruction, because that is what you're calling for. That is what people are calling for. Again, ladies and gentlemen, if you want me to be direct, I'll be direct. Texas Tech is not losing their NIL advantage. All these big schools are not going to lose their NIL advantage. They're still going to have big NIL deals. But they're trying to eliminate the deals that have no connection to commercial for-profit enterprises, which is true NIL. I don't know how much more simple it can get. Just like the NFL, just like the NBA. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. Now people are taking shots on the Gophers. Go ahead. Go ahead. Take shots on the Gophers. This is not, I'm not taking a shot at your, I don't, okay, we'll get on with the show. Look, I get it. I've been doing this show almost every day for 3 years. Literally, most college football fans, they bitch about no enforcement, but when it comes to their teams, they don't want any guardrails. It's the same. It's the same rule. It's the same thing every single year. Don't touch my program, but make sure everybody else is following the rules. That is the same thing that goes on every single time. And unlike NFL franchises, NBA franchises that are the NBA is the National Basketball Association. You are part of association. You follow the damn rules. In college sports, the fans don't want you to follow the rules. They don't. The rules that your own school signed off on. Okay, all right, let's get to it. This has been too long of a monologue, so I cannot. We'll skip the monologue. Einstein. Okay. We will get back to everything that we were just talking about, but we got to get on with the show here. My goodness, what is going on? Alabama. The Alabama spotlight. Ty Simpson. Good Lord. I don't know what is going on with my computer. This is a sad day. Well, we're going to go as far as we can with this. My computer is really acting up. I apologize. We are in a load of hurt right now. Load of hurt. Alabama quarterback Ty Simpson, 167 yards passing. I think it was his third year in the Alabama program. He hasn't played much. He has not played much. I don't know if he's the answer. Kalen DeBoer loves big arm quarterbacks. Jalen Milroe was a square trying to get into a DeBoer's round hole. I probably shouldn't have said it that way. Ty Simpson, is he the guy? Is he a Kalen DeBoer guy? I do not know. When I've spoken about Ty Simpson, I'm not a believer. But he is going to be QB1 for Alabama. This is the problem I have with Alabama. Is the running backs. I do not know if they've got a superstar. I do not look at Jam Miller as the guy. He ran for 688 yards last year, 4.6 yards per rush, 7 rushing touchdowns, 16 receptions. They've got Richard Young, who played a little bit last year as a freshman, ran for, I think, a little short of 200 yards. Do they got a superstar? Wow, Jude, you're absolutely correct. And if you know, again, we're looking at destruction if that is the end result. Who's going to pay the $20 billion in back pay? Are your billionaires going to pay the $20 billion in back pay? I doubt it. Jam Miller, I don't believe in Alabama's running game. I'm probably wrong. I do believe in their wide receivers, of course. Ryan Williams, the great freshman last year, 48 receptions, 865 yards, 18 average per reception, 8 receiving touchdowns. Now, Ryan Williams, I think these numbers are going to go sky high. Kalen DeBoer with the new offensive coordinator, Ryan Grubb, who is DeBoer's offensive coordinator, with the Washington Huskies. The team is back together. The duo, Batman and Robin, are back together in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Ryan Williams is gonna shine, and so is Mr. Bernard. 50 receptions last year, 794 receiving yards, almost 16 yards per catch, 2 receiving touchdowns. Big time wideouts at Alabama, and those numbers are going to escalate. But again, Ty Simpson, is he truly the guy? Is Ty Simpson truly the guy? Now, they got the 5-star freshman quarterback, Keelan Russell. He ain't going to be QB1 against the Florida State Seminoles. But at some point, is Alabama going to have to make the switch at quarterback? Interesting times ahead in Tuscaloosa. Defensive end LT Overton. This has got to be the year. A lot of hype, a lot of praise, all SEC first team. But again, the statistics do not show it. 3 tackle for losses, 2 sacks. He's more of a rush defensive end. LT Overton, this is your year. You got to get it done. Again, Alabama's got a lot of guys who everybody is expecting more production, like the running backs, like Jam Miller, like Ty Simpson, but I'm not convinced. I do not have Alabama in the college football playoffs. Once again, that is not their schedule. I've got the wrong schedule up there. We'll skip the schedule. That is the Alabama spotlight. Put down your comments in the comments section and let me know how wrong I got it. Alabama is going to be a very good team. They're going to win a lot of ball games. But I got LSU ahead of Alabama. I've got Texas ahead of Alabama. I've got quite a few teams ahead of Alabama. I'm probably going to be wrong, but I don't think so. I am not convinced that Alabama is going to make the playoffs. Not convinced at all. Georgia, Texas, LSU are definites ahead of Alabama. And then I've got some teams. Look, I'm going to be honest with you. Missouri's defense might not stack up with Alabama's defense, but their offense is going to be way better than Alabama's. Florida, DJ Legway. I think Alabama's in a tough spot this year. We're going to find out, but I don't got Alabama in the play. South Carolina. Forgot about South Carolina. Thank you, MBM. Lenore Sellers, Mr. Stewart, their great defensive end who's got, huge stats, huge production. He's not a Mr. Overton. He's done it. He's proved it. I don't know. I'm looking at 9-3, 8-4 for Bama, and I don't think they're going to quite make the playoffs. Once again, put down your comments. MBM, DeBoer is on the hot seat. I can see the Big Ten replacing Minnesota with Texas Tech. A lot of hurt feelings in the chat room. Just because I don't want pay-for-play to be part of football. And have I accused Texas Tech of pay-for-play? No, I haven't. You see how this works? Have I accused Texas Tech for pay-for-play? No. All those NIL deals that they did when they front-loaded was all legal. Because it was done before the Deloitte. Have I accused Texas Tech of violating? I have been supporting Texas Tech. You see what I get here? That's what comes with doing a national college football YouTube channel. DeBoer pink slip would be 100% guarantee. DeBoer is a West Coast guy. He's a fish out of water at Bama. Go Black 45. By the way, LSU got the number 5 overall player to stay at home and commit today. Congratulations, Go Black 45. Congratulations, Go Black 45. Let's talk about the Texas Tech Red Raiders. Texas Tech built best team money can buy, and the Big 12 coaches have thoughts. By David Ubben, Justin Williams, Chris Vanini, Frisco, Texas. Texas Tech has become one of the splashiest stories of the college football offseason, thanks to the money poured onto its 2025 roster, and opposing Big 12 coaches have taken notice. They built the best team money can buy, one conference head coach told The Athletic. But if they don't win the Big 12, holy cow. He was among a dozen Big 12 head coaches The Atlantic interviewed about the Texas Tech spending spree at the league's media days this week, offering anonymity in exchange for their candor. The responses range from the good-natured to cynical, with at least a touch of jealousy. Good for them. Hell, if I had Cody Campbell, I'd be doing sleepovers at his house, said one coach of the Texas Tech billionaire booster who has become a significant figure in college sports. Hey, best buddy, how can I help you? I don't blame them. If you're going to buy a player, buy the right one, and they bought some good ones. It's a massive investment for any school, particularly a Big 12 program that is not a traditional blue blood. But Tech, coming off an 8-5 record in 2024, isn't shying from it. I do think people feel a little threatened, Texas Tech head coach Joey McGuire said in an interview with The Athletic. The last box is Texas Tech has never won the Big 12, never played in the Big 12 championship. That's why this year is so critical. Very critical year for the Texas Tech Red Raiders. The players are embracing it as well. I love the bullseye we got on our back, senior quarterback Baron, the Red Baron Morton said. Count Colorado coach Deion Sanders, a long-time admirer of McGuire from their high school coaching days, among those paying attention. Yeah, Joey's got some money, spending that money. I love it, Sanders says Wednesday from the Big 12 immense main stage. Can you send a few of those dollars to us so we can get some of those players too? Others were less enthused. I mean, it's childish. I think it's, hey, look at me, said another coach. I don't think it's a good for college football. 6 coaches said they wish they had similar financial support and would do the same if they were in McGuire's very expensive shoes. It's awesome if you got it, said one coach. I wish I had it. Oh my gosh. Good for them, said another. I'm jealous. Others scoffed at the extent of spending and how it might impact the locker room. Ridiculous. They're not just outbidding, they're outbidding other teams by 3 times, said one coach. Wild, but it will be interesting. If the players are good kids, about the right things and about winning, I think it will go great. If they're about themselves, the first time adversity hits will define them. Another suggests that pressure that's going to come with all that money Texas Tech spent is going to be tough. A couple of coaches question the sustainability and legitimacy of the dollar figures being thrown around, with one calling it asinine. Again, this is all coming from Big 12 coaches. Another mentioned conflicting reports over the 2026 offensive line recruit Felix Ojo, who committed to the Red Raiders last weekend and agreed to a 3-year revenue sharing contract. Ojo's agent said the deal is worth $5.1 million. The Athletic $2.3 million, with potential to increase. Another coach expressed frustration that Texas Tech roster was being paid 10 times what he was paying his players. I don't know what to believe. I don't even know how it's possible, said the coach. Those are big numbers. There will be a lot of young men taking pay cuts when they get done playing college football. A few coaches stress that NIL spending doesn't always buy wins, with one stating, "Let's see how it plays out." Complaining, bitching, whining, nobody wants to hear it. Some people are going to spend like the Yankees and the Dodgers, and some people are going to spend like the Rays and the Royals. And that doesn't mean we all don't have a chance, but it's tough. It's also unclear how the House settlement will impact those disparities. The front-loaded NIL deals this offseason were a one-time way to supplement the new financial model that started on July 1st, which caps a school revenue sharing at $20.5 million in the first year and aims to restrict the lucrative pay for play. NIL deals popularized by collectives. If the settlement works as intended in future years, this should curb third-party NIL spending and level the financial playing field, though many coaches remain dubious the richest programs will fall in line. Some schools are not going to let it happen. They've done it one way. They're not going to keep doing it. They're going to keep doing it that way. They don't want the gap to get closer, said one coach. If that's the case, Texas Tech seems poised to keep spending in a sport that has long favored the fortunate, to the envy of those vying for the Big 12 throne. It is simply boils down to whoever has rich boosters win football games. That's bad, said a coach. But every man has a price. Don't hate the player, hate the game, he said. If we had that money, I would have wanted to do the same thing. The Athletic article of early this morning on Texas Tech. Critical year for Texas Tech. We did a live show about 6 weeks ago. Joey McGuire is going to be on the hot seat if they do not at least challenge for the Big 12 championship game. And as I said, I have supported Texas Tech. I have no problem with the front loading of their NIL deals. Cody Campbell, Texas Tech, they're going to figure it out. They're going to give massive NIL commercial deals to their players going forward. I have said that I don't know how many times, but yet I'm the bad guy. I'm the bad guy because I want to get rid of inducement pay-for-play deals. Fake NIL deals, which is not allowed in any sports at all. Any team sports at all. But I'm the bad guy. Craig Pflugar is the communist. He is the bad guy. Okay. Still Austin. Tech will post another 8-win season. Tech is going to fall hard. Boy, you guys are really, I don't know, man. We did a spotlight on Texas Tech. We did a spotlight. They got a lot of dudes, man. They've got a lot of dudes. A lot of dudes. Not to mention that dude, that defensive tackle from UCF, which I can't remember the name. That kid can play. That kid can play. Greg, have you ever had them days you feel like Rodney Dangerfield? Again, I haven't accused of any program for cheating since July 1st. I mean, since the Deloitte. How would I know if schools are cheating? I haven't taken shots at any individual school. Not a one. I've taken shots at agents that fake like they don't know what the rules are. because I know what game they're playing. And I've been very upfront. I've been very obvious that pay-for-play inducements, if you're going to allow that in, guys, you're going to destroy the sport, and who cares? I mean, who cares at that point? What are you going to be cheering for exactly? What are you going to be cheering for? I don't know. Well, I will tell you, this has been MBM. I'm not mad. I'm just annoyed. Every day it's something about Tech or Cody Campbell. Imagine hearing about Gundy and T. Boone every day. I agree, MBM. It was the Big 12 Media Days this week, so I talked about the Big 12. For the first time ever, I took shots at Brett Yormark. I've given him more flowers than any other Big 12 commissioner. People got tired of me taking shots at Brett Yormark. But, next week we're going to be doing, the rest of July is going to be the other conference media days. So I'm not going to be talking about Cody Campbell next week or the week after. I will say that Cody Campbell, again, I said it yesterday, very smart person, very charismatic. But, he's not the only billionaire out there. There's a lot of money that's lined up on the other side of the ledger. Cody Campbell talks about how he wants to save college sports, but he doesn't. His plan decimates G5, G6. It does. The Rudy Project absolutely decimates the MAC, Conference USA, Sun Belt, because they won't be able to play the Autonomy 4 schools. Cody Campbell wants everybody to go under the same media agreement. So basically what Cody Campbell wants, and I do not have anything against him, he's pushing Texas Tech interests, but they're not the interest of other schools. What Cody Campbell wants is no risk to Texas Tech. They keep all the benefits, but they don't give up anything. But yet the Buckeyes, Michigan, Penn State, the Big Ten, the SEC, they're giving it up. They're giving up the risk. So this Cody Campbell vision, fantastic. I'm glad you had the microphone. I'm glad you're pushing. I'm glad you're whispering in Donald Trump's ear. But that ain't the interest of the Minnesota Golden Gophers. That's not the interest of the Alabama Crimson Tide. That's not the interest of Western Michigan. Cody Campbell is talking about the interest of a very narrow hallway. The pushback is the pushback has already been there. But this is the one college football YouTube channel that is putting this out there. Cody Campbell is not the savior. He's a great supporter of Texas Tech. Fantastic. And if he wants to, he should be able to do it until whenever he wants to stop. If he wants to do it for the rest of his life, great. It's your money. Fantastic. Other people have done it before you. Other people are going to do it after you. Great. Nothing wrong with Cody Campbell. But what he's trying to push, whispering in Donald Trump's ear, nah. It ain't going to happen. It ain't going to happen. Greg, what if I had a podcast and paid a player to come on once a week to talk and people pay to listen? Well, how much money are you going to make, serial killer? How big a commercial deal is it worth to you to have this player on? How much money are you going to gross? All that is going to be factored in. Like a car wash. If a car wash makes $250,000 a year and is putting Arch Manning pictures up on its walls, and suddenly they're paying Arch Manning $500,000 to play for Rice University, that's not a commercial deal. That's a pay-for-play money laundering deal. So it depends on the business and how much money they make. That's why I think some of you are being, if I can say this, I think some of you are being, now this is funny coming from me being all sensitive, but I think a lot of you are being way too sensitive about this. Yes, I'm being hypocritical. Big NIL deals are still going to happen. Big ones. Big ones. And the schools that have the NIL advantages, it's not going away. But these obvious pay-for-play, player inducements to come play for us, not NIL deals, they've got to go away. Under this settlement, under this possible codification, or under a true CBA. Either way, they got to go away. Just like they go away in every professional sports league. Period. Don't worry. Don't worry, Texas Tech. You're still going to have an advantage. BYU, don't worry. You're still going to have an advantage. Buckeyes, you're still going to have a big advantage. Michigan, whatever you're still going to have an NIL advantage over many other institutions. It ain't going away. It's just like some schools have a recruiting ground advantage. Some schools have a bigger market advantage. These things aren't going away. The only thing that could go away, that should go away, are these obvious inducements. Yes, I'm sorry, but that Heitner guy, Darren Heitner, whatever that agent, talking about how, God, this computer is driving me nuts. I'm afraid to do anything. What is going on with this thing? These agents today who are shocked that a collective cannot pay a player to the betterment of the collective, or have a player go to do something for a charity and then they get paid all this money, is for a commercial enterprise for profit. As I said, and I can't even post this. Hold on. Okay, something's wrong, guys. Something is wrong. Lordy. Give me a chance. Give me a chance to save this. My goodness. I think I might have said, hold on. No. God. What the bleep is, hold on. Okay. Okay, like this guy here. And I showed this earlier. Darren Heitner, this lawyer, whatever he is, lawyer agent. So it's not okay for Alabama Collective to pay an athlete to do appearances that benefit the collective and have a charitable public good purpose, but it's okay for Alabama Collective to pay the athlete to appear in a commercial for Nick Saban's car dealership? Yes. Yes, Darren. Yes, and everybody knows this. Everybody knows that this is the rules that all the schools signed off on. Ross Dellinger, it's been obvious. This was this morning. Ross Dellinger, it's been obvious for months that traditional collective deals won't be cleared. Collectives must evolve into marketing agencies to strike deals with brands and businesses. True NIL. Name, image, and likeness that benefits a commercial enterprise. Period. Not a pay for play. These are really simple concepts. And look, these agents know this. They're playing stupid today. They're playing the victim. Oh my God, opportunities are going to go away. No, they're not. NIL deals are not going to go away. Your money laundering, where you get 20%, an inducement, pay for play, those things are going away. And if that makes the fat guy from Minnesota the bad guy, well, I guess that's what I am. Okay, one more story we got to get through here. We'll eventually get to your phone calls. HR bill, 119th Congress. This is the bill that was introduced today. I'm not going to go through it all. I will provide a link in the description box below the video after the live show, so you can go check it out if you cannot find it. But basically, this is the rundown. It's called the SCORE. Again, this is from Ross Dellinger. The SCORES Act, original co-sponsors. As we talked about earlier, 2 Democratic co-sponsors. And again, last night, I was just guessing, but I thought maybe there was some attempt for bipartisanship because of the language that was used when Ross Dellinger gave us the bulletin points of what was in the bill. There seemed to be some attempt, at least, to garner some Democratic support for the issues that they really, truly believe in. And here we've got 2 Democratic co-sponsors of the bill. Now again, it's going to take 60 votes in the Senate. And it's going to take at least 7 Democrats. It very well could take 8, 9, or 10. Not all 53 Republicans. I don't know. Maybe all 53 will be on board, but maybe not. So this is going to have a bipartisan support in the Senate. And this is some of what's in the bill. This is what people are. This is Congressman Shamari C. Figure. I don't know how to say that name. He's the Democrat from Alabama. The current college sports environment has drastically changed in the NIL era. And this bill provides a framework to where students can not only be compensated, but also have access to resources like healthcare and financial literacy courses to ensure they have a solid foundation for their lives after college, and we can get back to just playing ball. So there's a whole bunch of different comments here that people have talked about. This is from Congressman Fry. The SCORE Act is a significant step forward for name, image, and likeness in college sports. A lack of clear rules and an inability to enforce them have turned the NIL landscape into the Wild West. This bill will finally bring order to chaos, protecting universities and conferences from a flood of litigation, safeguarding Olympic and women's sports teams, and creating a fair and national framework that allows student athletes to profit from their name, image, and likeness. So those are some of the comments. Those are some of the comments in regards to the bill. We'll see. We'll keep an eye on this story. We'll continue to cover it. There's at least enough traction to where a bill was introduced in the House. It was a part of 3 different committees. This bill had a couple of Democratic co-sponsors. We'll see if there's any traction in the Senate. We'll see what Cruz and Booker, if they introduce something. Are they willing to work with this bill in bipartisan, House and Senate committees coming together? We'll see what happens. I'm going to choose to be optimistic. I'm going to choose to be delusional and believe this might work. Because what other choice do I have? I don't have a collective bargaining choice right now. The only choice I have that what's going on right now, which is destruction, litigation, cheating, destruction of the game we love, college football. I am going to get your phone calls. I am going to get your phone calls right now. Thank you, everybody, for joining us at PATC. The phone lines are open. 763-260-1333. 763-260-1333. Give us a call. Give us a call. David Floyd, the Big Ten and the SEC are doing everything they can keep AC in the Big 12 down. Here's another thing.
Call from
Rick?
Rick, can you hold on for a moment, please?
You bet.
I appreciate it. Here's another thing. Again, I'm going to say this for like the 10,000th time. No one's going to believe me, but I'm going to say it because I truly believe it. I got no problem with Texas Tech spending all this money. None. I don't have any problem with any Big 12, any ACC spending all collectives. If it's a commercial deal, if he front loaded it, that's fine. I got no problem with anything that anybody's doing. The pay for play stuff, in my strongly held opinion, has got to be eliminated within a CBA or this, because it's eliminated everywhere else in team sports, because it has to be. But there seems to be this idea that, like, because Texas Tech has a whole bunch of money and the BYU has a whole bunch of money, and God love them, I've got no problem with them having. In fact, how many times have I said, look at the advantages that the Buckeyes in Michigan have over a lot of the Big Ten teams. I've said, I got no problem with the Buckeyes in Michigan having that advantage because they got people that support the program for decade after decade after decade. I got no problem with that. But there seems to be this, I don't know, man. It's like the Big Ten is poor, the SEC is poor, and boy, they cannot allow the Big 12 and the ACC. No, come on, guys. Again, Cody Campbell's been in front of the microphone. Congratulations. Congratulations, he support. But there's a lot of big money all over the place. We're starting to act like Texas Tech is the only one that's got money. They spent a lot of money this year. What do you think the Buckeyes did the last couple of years? And before that, Michigan and Penn State and Alabama. All of these schools, they're going to find big NIL deals for their players. That is a good thing. That is not going away. Nobody is scared of Texas Tech. Nobody. Why should they be? As long as Texas Tech is doing what everybody else should be doing, it should be kosher for everybody. Texas Tech, I love you guys. I love Red Raider Nation. All I do is give you flowers. But you're starting to act like Nebraska Cornhusker fans here. Honestly. First win a Big 12 championship. Nebraska, spend that money, get the right guys, win the football games. Congratulations. But nobody fears. Nobody is fearing anything out there. This is not about keeping Texas Tech down. This is not about Texas Tech. This is not about BYU. I'm sorry, guys, it's not. This is about programs wanting everybody to play by the same rules and not have pay-for-play inducement wreck it all. The SEC wants the The SEC schools want the SEC in their own conference to all be playing by the same rules. Same thing with the Big Ten. I think we're getting too focused on Texas Tech. God love you, Red Raiders. But there's a lot of, like, the Buckeyes are thinking about the Wolverines. The Nittany Lions are thinking about the Buckeyes, and the Georgia's thinking about Alabama. They're all thinking about Texas. And if they see Red Raiders in the playoffs, that's going to be fun. But this whole thing is not a conspiracy against the BYU Cougars and the Red Raiders. It's not. By the way, Texas Tech signed on the dotted line to all these rules. Go ahead, Rick. The floor is yours.
Wow, the propaganda this week.
Yeah, it's
sick.
I'm afraid you're going to yell at me, aren't you, Rick? Go ahead. The floor is yours.
I promise not to yell, but I also promise to point out where we disagree.
Got it.
Disagreement number one, step back from the ledge. It's going to be okay. Nobody's going to destroy college football. It'll be fine. If the Hogs, the SEC, and the Hogs in the Big Ten and the Big 12 and the ACC, the Hogs get slaughtered and the pigs get fed.
Yeah.
If the Hogs can hand out that $2.8 billion, they'll find some extra money to get through this if they have to. If they have to pay out some more, and if they don't, they'll get slaughtered, and it'll get wiped out and rebuilt again immediately, but rebuilt the way it should have been done in the first place.
But not everyone's going to survive the slaughter. That's the problem. And these student athletes are going to lose their opportunity. Go ahead.
That's okay. So that's too bad. That's a shame. But that's Darwin wrote a book on it.
Okay. I guess I'm the only one for the little guy, but go ahead.
Moving on. I heard that I caught the show last night, the emergency show.
Yes.
So they were calling you a communist. That's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard in my life. It's clear you're a Marxist. I mean, the proletariats are trying to exist, and you and the bourgeoisie are stepping on their throat. Okay.
Well,
you can't be for both sides, Greg. You gotta be for the players, or you gotta be for the colleges.
What was that again?
Colleges. You gotta pick one.
For the players of the colleges? No, I don't have to pick one. I want the golden goose. I want the golden goose to keep laying the golden eggs so the student athletes can keep getting paid compensation, scholarships, and opportunities. I want both to prosper.
There's only one golden goose, and that's the players.
No, that's absolutely untrue. Absolutely untrue. That is where we disagree. The players are not going to get paid unless the golden goose keeps putting out the eggs. That is a big misconception. Big misconception. Go ahead.
The people want the players. They don't want the schools.
Wrong. Try to create a semi-pro professional league without these schools. It will go under. The players won't get paid. The thing will go bankrupt. Just like we've seen so many examples. We need both to prosper. What do you think a collective bargaining agreement is? To make sure the best of everybody's ability for both to prosper. You cannot, if we go from the ownership, the schools ruling over all and not getting the student athletes the compensation that they have deserved for decades, and then we swing the pendulum all the way to the other side where the agents, a few billionaires, run everything, we're going to destroy it going the other way. No, you can be for both. I'm for both. I am absolutely for both. I'm not going to choose. And I'm going to call both sides out. Right down the middle, baby. Fat guy from Minnesota. Henry Clay, the great compromiser. Go ahead, sir.
Red and the blue, Greg. It's the red and the blue. It's the north and the south. It's the yin and the yang. It's one or the other.
No, absolutely not.
You're not gonna fool everybody by saying you're for both.
I am for both.
I've got the proof.
The most successful sport league in the country is the NFL. The ownership benefits and the players benefit. You need both to benefit. You cannot have the ownership with their foot on the necks of the labor, and you cannot have those representing labor running everything. It ain't gonna work either way. I'm for both, ladies and gentlemen. I am for both. Everybody should love me, for God's sakes. Rick, go ahead.
You're taking money out of the players' pocket. You're reaching right into their pockets.
And how is that money being created? How do we?
You're rich.
We wouldn't know Bryce Underwood unless there was a college football industry. You can't.
Can I finish?
Huh?
Can I finish?
Yeah, go ahead.
You're reaching into the college football players' pockets. You're taking their money, and you're giving it to the Rutgers cross-country team. You're giving it to the Northwestern swimming and diving team, and you're giving it to the Minnesota hockey team. It's the college football players' money. It's not yours, and it's not the colleges. It's their money. If they want to donate their money to those organizations, so be it. Go ahead and let Arch Manning give $1 million to Texas lacrosse. That's his business. But don't take his money and his teammates' money and force them to give it to those programs.
For the first time in history in college sports, players are getting paid directly by the athletic departments under a rev share. That money...
Because they earned it in court, not because it was given to them. They took it.
Exactly. It was earned in court. There's a settlement, and we got to go by the settlement rules, Rick. You can't have one without the other. Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Yet. We're not done in court.
No. Hold on. Time out. That rev share came about because of a settlement in the courts. Same thing with the Deloitte. That came from the settlement in the courts. You can't pick and choose. You can't pick and choose. Go ahead.
Taxation without representation.
The representation was from the Lord. No. Hey, you want to get a collective bargaining agreement?
That's the big lie.
You want to get a collective bargaining agreement? Bring it in.
You're going to get a collective bargaining agreement. Are you for the players, Greg?
I'm for both. I'm sorry, guys. I'm for both. I'm for both.
For the players?
I'm for yes.
Would you like the players to have a collective bargaining agreement?
Yes.
How about if the players, every single one of them, want a collective bargaining agreement identical to Major League Baseball?
They can't.
You're still with the players?
No, I wouldn't want that. I wouldn't want that.
No, because you're not with the players.
Okay, I'm not with the players. I don't want Major League Baseball system, so I'm not with the players.
It's up to them what they want. It's up to them what they get. It's not up to the colleges to tell them what they get.
All right, I can't stand Major League Baseball because of its collective bargaining agreement. I can't watch it. It's not competition. It's a golden goose that can't lay any more golden eggs. The attendance are declining. People don't care. There's 3 franchises that can compete, and you've got the top 2% of the players making all the money. I don't want that. That's not pro
I don't
player.
know a major league.
That's not being pro player. The NBA.
There's not a major league player baseball player who isn't a millionaire.
There in the NBA.
There isn't a major league baseball player who isn't a millionaire.
Okay, if you want to support,
You have to feel sorry for them, Greg.
if you want,
You have to feel sorry for them.
if you want to support a collective bargaining agreement that mirrors the Major League Baseball, which, by the way, all these agents and lawyers on X want to happen. I know their game because that's how agents make the most money as possible. Then go tell your school, everybody in the chat room, go tell your school, write a letter, give them the call, have them support a CBA with MLB collective bargaining agreement. And by the way, when you do that, say goodbye to your Olympic sports, say goodbye to everything, because all the resources are going to get sucked up by the 1% to 2% of the top players. That's not being pro player. That's being pro agent. That's being pro agent.
If you want your Olympic sports, go call Phil Knight and Cody Campbell, and they can buy you a hockey team and a cross-country team and a diving team.
And
don't take it out of college football players' pockets.
And that is why this college endeavor, college sports, that gives opportunities to student athletes, to give them a scholarship, to give them an opportunity to go to college in all walks of life, can't be completely professional. It can no longer be amateur, but it can't be completely professional, in my opinion.
Coach Kyle Whittingham disagrees. He thinks they don't even have to go to class anymore.
Yeah, I disagree with them. You know what?
Well, that's where it is, because that's the reality.
Rick, you can take all these billionaires, do however you want to do this, and create a semi-pro football league from 18 to 21 years old without any connections to the schools, without any connection. Go ahead and do it. Go ahead and do it and see how much you can pay these student athletes. See how much money you can make. You know what's going to happen? You're going to go bankrupt. Just like every other semi-pro football league, 18 to 21-year-old that's been created in this country. So you got to be for both.
Billionaires and get together and form your club sports at your colleges, like Stanford did, so they could win the whatever the stupid cup is for the most NCAA useless trophies in the world.
All right, Rick, I appreciate the call, my man.
And I appreciate you giving me the time. Thank you,
got
sir.
it. Love you, sir. We got another call coming.
Love you too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Oh, I missed the call. Please call again. Please call again. I don't know. I don't know if I'm a communist. I don't know if I'm a communist, a Marxist, or an evil capitalist. I've been called everything. But I've made it pretty clear. I cannot see. I don't want these. Here's an example. Volleyball. Women's volleyball.
Call from
Jeff Fuller.
Jeff Fuller, can you hold on for just 1 minute?
Of course, Greg.
I appreciate it. Just want to get this off my chest here when I get a chance. Women's volleyball, yes, it has not been a revenue maker. Yes, football programs and basketball programs and donations have paid for the scholarship and for them building out the arenas and all that and the jerseys and everything else that has to go with women's volleyball. And for decades, these scholarships have given opportunities for women to go to college, to get an education, to go on with their lives. They play competitive sports, which is fantastic at a college level. Being part of something bigger than yourselves is crucial to mental health and everything that goes along with it. With all these opportunities given to these women volleyball players that would not have been given in the true professional marketplace, I guess this time I'm a commie. I go, now the women's volleyball, there's more people going to the matches than ever before. There is more viewership at the Big Ten Network than ever before. The money is flowing in. Nebraska's women volleyball is now a revenue maker. In Penn State and Wisconsin are very, very close to being revenue makers in the sport. Women's sports have actually climbed up the ladder in this country, this great country of ours, largely due to the fact that, yes, women's sports have been given help in the college level by, yes, taking money from the football and the basketball program and the universities. But at a whole, I think it is better for everybody in this country. The football players, the basketball players, under this settlement are getting paid 50% of the compensation that the athletic department is making. Through the scholarship and through the rev share, the average, the players, the labor, it is about 50%. And a lot of that, when it comes to scholarship compensation, is not taxable. So, again, I will stand on that ground to say you got to be for both. You got to be for both. You got to be for the golden goose to keep cooking out those eggs, and you got to be for the players to get as much compensation as possible. This is not a perfect world. This is not a perfect settlement, but between this and destruction, this rises way above destruction, in my opinion. Mr. Fuller, the floor is yours. Go ahead, sir.
Hey, yeah, thanks, Greg. Just going off that a little bit, I've actually missed a couple callers beforehand, just trying to call in, but I did hear you sort of defending, women's sports and then, non-revenue sports in quotes. BYU, I understand you, Minnesota hockey is a revenue sport. At BYU, women's volleyball and women's soccer, both usually top 5 nationally in attendance. So, those are money-making sports. They're not massive cash cows, but they hold their own. They're not, drawing loads of money away from the men's basketball and football programs. So yeah, there are some out there that do sort of pull their weight, but even if they didn't, it is there is some beauty to having an athletic department and having a system of things moving forward, and where we can be yes and not an either or, win-win, yes and not an either or. That's not the main reason I called in, just sort of going off what you just said. But, I hear you talking a lot about Cody Campbell. I know he's one of the main things. I guess he's T. Boone Pickens mixed with T. Boone Pickens and Phil Knight, but someone who actually, played the sport and played at the collegiate level, and, has more life, has more skin in the game, I guess you could say, more life experience in there.
Yeah.
And, I hear you talking, and I think in your mind, and maybe in a lot of others, there's a 100% automatic link between Cody Campbell and Project Rudy. And I know he's been associated with that. I know he's maybe lended some credence to that, but I don't know if you can absolutely, link the two or conflate them, that, one equals the other.
That's fair.
I think what a lot of people are trying to point out, and again, you say, I think I heard on your show yesterday, or maybe it was earlier today, but saying that no one's been able to show you where, how if everyone bound together, how, everyone would make more money. It's just simple negotiating. The NFL, they pool all their media rights, And, what's the biggest sport in America? It's the NFL. What's the second biggest sport in America, Greg?
College football.
It's college football.
Yeah.
Absolutely, it is. It is. And, by viewership, by people who claim to be fans, you have lots of allegiances, lots of people who are, passionate fans or avid fans. They do all these surveys, and college football is always up there as, behind the NFL. NBA has fluctuated some, other ones, Major League Baseball 10, 20 years ago, you've opined about, why MLB has spun off, I think correctly. But, that the NFL and all these leagues, they draw in tons more media money than if you look at all these, mini fiefdoms of the conferences. The SEC has a big contract, and the Big Ten, they struck while the iron was hot. They got in at the right time when lots of media money was available, and they got a bonanza, media deal at the right time, and I can see the pride in that, and there is value there. I'm not saying it's overvalued. Obviously the Pac-12 went way too late. The Big 12 got in just in time, and maybe did sacrifice a little bit of money on the table just to make sure they had the inventory and locked up those slots, those time slots. But what I'm saying here is, the media companies, if they can play the conferences off each other, and they can say, well, you're really not that valuable, and to certain conferences, and obviously there are different levels of value to the different conferences. No one's disputing that. But when all of them could bind together, and I'm not saying we have to go 72 teams only. I'm not saying that we have to restructure these divisions and regionally or geographically. But even if just all the conference commissioners could agree, hey, coming up in 2020, 2030, 2031, whenever the next media rights, bonanza is going to be happening for college football, what if they all went in together and just said, we are one unit. We're going to do this together. I think, and lots of people have projected that there's probably double the money in media rights available. Some people scoff at that, but there's a lot of people who work in this industry. Some of them are, maybe some of the private capital people who are pumping up some business there. But, I think a lot of people realize there's a lot of money being left on the table by everyone doing it their own way. And the media companies, they can lowball the conferences. It's just the way it is. And so my suggestion is just, hey, let's leave all the conferences as they are, but have the conference commissioners bind together and not worry about, who has the bigger contract, not worry about who, and tie it to brand value per team or per conference, average it out to, but rising tide lifts all boats. Minnesota could make more money. Ohio State could make more money. Alabama could make more money. Texas Tech could make more money. Colorado, BYU, even Memphis, Boise State, some of these, non-power conference teams. There's just money there. There just is. And it's just frustrating to see how regionalized the sport has been. And yes, the SEC is largely at fault there for, pounding their chests and time again. And then, jealousy from the outside and just other regions, just making it, I think the media companies are just laughing all the way to the bank because they're making a lot of money. They're making a lot of money on Big Ten Network. They're making a lot of money on the SEC Network. ESPN's making tons on the college football playoffs. They are making off great, and that's great, but they're making too much. They need to make sure the providers of the content get their fair share too as well. So that's my main thing there. You've heard me opine before about, why does the SEC need to go to 9 games? Let's have the Big 12 and the Big 10 go down to 8 games, and let's let everyone play each other in at least 2 out-of-conference games. And again, if all the conferences could bind together and agree to this, where they say, yeah, we'll play all these non-conference games against each other, that provides a lot of value to these media partners as well, getting different regions of the country, different time zones, playing each other on some very, very interesting matchups. So that's where I stand on this version of what you're saying.
Great call, Mr. Fuller. Great call. Fair comment on the not connecting Cody Campbell entirely to the Rudy thing. That's fair. Couple comments. One is, when this Super League was first reported, and they talked about how everyone was going to make more money, even the whole house, everyone's going to make more money, lift all the boats, 70 teams, blah, blah, blah. One of the points, the salient points that was put in that article, according to everybody that was, supporting it, and, Jack Swarbrick was part of it, that 70-team Rudy project, one of the ways that it was going to get all this, one of the many ways, supposedly, that all this extra money was going to come about during one meeting negotiation with these 70 teams attached, was to cut the legs out completely from 99% of the G5 schools. There would be no more games with the Autonomy 4 Conference being played with G5 and FCS. That was one of the things that was put in there. So this thing that keeps getting propagated, that is good for everybody, we're trying to save everybody. No, it actually you're cutting the legs out from under the G5 and FCS conferences in this plan. Number one, that's how you're supposedly kicking up the value for everybody. Number two, and I forgot my second point because I'm getting old and I'm getting forgetful. And another thing is, I'm saying this from I love college football. I get so many comments in the chat room. People who say, I don't watch SEC, I don't watch Big Ten, I don't watch Big 12, from different people, right? I watch everything, Jeff.
Yeah, me too.
Okay?
Me too.
So I love all college football. I don't want
watching Iowa. I don't like watching Iowa.
Yeah, I don't want there to be a breakaway. I don't want there to be a breakaway. And when people keep bringing up the Rudy Project, I keep saying to myself, sometimes out loud, but most of the time inside of my head, geez, in some ways I agree. In some ways I agree with the theory that leverage plus scarcity equals more leverage, and suddenly the ones that hold the content have leverage over the media partners. I get that. The more you bundle content together, the more advantageous you are. That's why, it's been, it would be very difficult for a lot of, like 99% of the schools out there to be a standalone institution. BYU was able to do it. Notre Dame can do it, but most schools can't. You got to bundle your content together and it becomes more valuable. So I get all that. But then in the back of my mind, it's like, then why doesn't the SEC and the Big Ten just bundle their stuff together and sell it at an outrageous price? If this is, because I'm always hearing, Jeff, I don't need to go down that rabbit hole. That was the second point that, I don't want that to happen. I don't want the Big Ten to bundle anything with the SEC. And so anyway, I think you went off the phone there, but that was my second comment. G5 FCS is a way for those in the P2 to refuse the thought of sharing their wealth with. Well, I don't know what to say. The Big Ten has supported the MAC conference since the 1940s. When a Big Ten school plays a MAC conference schools, we give them millions of dollars. so they can pay the bills. The state as an athletic department. That's not sharing the wealth? What are we talking about here? Just another example. It's like, what? What? Okay. So basically you want the relationships to be completely broken off for autonomy for conference schools to the G5. So therefore the Big 12, no 70-team league because it cuts out FCS G5. If you're going to consolidate, just drop the ACC and the Big 10 off and combine the Big 2. Well, I don't want to combine the SEC and the Big 10. Thanks for the call, Jeff. Appreciate it. Vox Quindaro, embrace Muhammad Ali. Float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. 50% love, watch to love. 50% watch to hate. 100% pay up. Okay, I want to thank Expedition Greg, Ricky Tungate, Stormy Cyclone, and Justin R for your generous donations. Thank you guys so much to help to keep the lights on here at College Football Peek Around the Corner. We did the Alabama Spotlight early in the program. The Alabama Spotlight, talking about Ty Simpson, the quarterback. Is he good enough for the Alabama Crimson Tide to actually challenge for the SEC championship? Jam Miller, is he good enough? Can he become a superstar? Ryan Williams is a superstar, and I expect him to absolutely explode in year 2 for the Alabama Crimson Tide. And Mr. Bernard going in, I believe his 3rd year. I could be wrong on that. I think he's going into his 3rd year. 50 receptions, 794 yards. LT Overton, the time is now. High expectations. He has not quite met them. Hopefully, this is the year for Alabama. Are they going to make it to the playoffs? I got them as a no. It could be a yes by August. I don't know. Greg the Cooler, Greg the Gold, we're going to find out in August and then in the season. Alabama, I don't got them in there. Do you guys, you got them in there? Let me know. Let me know. Tomorrow, PATC Spotlight team is none other than the Florida State. No, not Florida State. Is Florida, excuse me. The Florida Gainesville. That's going to be our spotlight team of tomorrow. I want to thank everybody for joining us today. I appreciate it. I appreciate the phone calls, even the ones that got off the rails. I do love it. Jose, 44 days left. Thank you, Vox. I'm sorry if I yelled at you too much or whoever I yelled at. I apologize. I apologize to everybody. I apologize that I am too much of a communist or too much of a capitalist, that I have not chosen between the players and the owners. I choose both. I choose both. I choose both. just like the NFL, just like the NBA, just like the NHL. It's a give and take. I want both sides to prosper. I want both sides to prosper. And if that makes me a raging capitalist communist, so be it. Until next time, from all of us at PATC to all of you, please, you all take great care of each other. Thank you so very much.